I have some housekeeping to attend to.
Oh. What house are you keeping?
So remember when I said I was penning a letter to Amathray?
Yes.
Can I have it so that I sent Rabbit, the magical greater steed, to deliver it to Amathray from Steamgate or whatever?
Yes.
From that moment in time?
Yes, we can retcon that.
Hell yeah. The contents
Because that was
of such letter would be the arrangement to deliver metal to Steamgate in exchange for their allegiance.
You're informing her of the terms of your deal that you made with the gnomes?
Yeah, and to dispatch metal as soon as possible. The other thing is Vinshenzo writing very eloquently how excited he is to be a father, and that's it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna put that in my notes that Rabbit.
Can I play D&D city music?
I have no issues with that whatsoever. I don't understand the techno space magic required for me to play ambient audio, otherwise it would be going all of the time. But if you have the ability and the inclination and the desire, by all means, please do it.
I'm just gonna play one track, and Knight already knows what track I'm gonna play.
Don't you do it, you motherfucker.
Do it, you motherfucker.
I would use this in my campaign, but
you have no cities.
You were just in one.
Okay, compared to what you're about to enter into, I don't think you have cities.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or Amathray. Okay. Any other housekeeping points before we start the session?
That's all I have.
This an open table question.
No, I need to pick a spell, but I'll do that as we go.
Totally fine. Okay, well, it's been a couple weeks, so I'm gonna set the scene and the mood again. After the long and arduous journey that you guys were on, Speaker, were you here for the last little bit of the last session, or no?
No.
No, you weren't. Okay, so you have not actually witnessed any of this. That's totally cool. So, you have arrived at New RAVNICA after many long months of travel. Not many, but several long months of travel. Where is the description that I had for it? That was the wrong page. So, as you're sailing in the direction of New RAVNICA, I think one of the crew members on watch, one of the party members on watch, noticed the city, much like a mountain in the distance. As you got closer, it just kept on getting bigger and bigger. It's several miles high, the tallest buildings of this massive city. And as you grow closer, the ship traffic increases. Both fishing vessels, supply barges, as well as what looks like some larger military ships and salvage operations dominate the waterways around New RAVNICA. The city itself rises out of the ocean like a great stone crown. Tall spires from the points and massive walls dictate the perimeters. Outside RAVNICA's walls lie dead ruins of the outer districts that were once a part of the city as a whole. Bridges and viaducts cling to the outer walls, and below those walls spread the skeletons of city blocks ravaged by the ocean storms. A massive seaport has been constructed atop the ruins of the city using materials harvested by the salvaging barges, which is what you see here. As you get closer, you can tell that there are 3 distinct ports. This one here is barred from your view, and as you're sailing in, the civilian ship traffic is directed into this larger main port here. There are several ships of different designs and different origins that are lined up in this main harbor here, and then other ships that appear to be of Ravnican origin on this port to your west. Ragus very excitedly informs anybody who's listening to him that we've arrived at what's called the Guild-Pact Port, which was once known as Precinct 6 of New Ravnica. Well, of when it was back in Ravnica, it was Precinct 6. The Guild-Pact Port, when Ragus had left, was still very much under construction, and they were still trying to dump materials into the sea to form the landmass. And it is through monumental efforts of labor and technology, they have created quite a large city on the outskirts of the island. There are many people who are lining the walkways, selling wares, intermingling with each other, going to and from their daily routines. Up in the air, you can see griffin riders patrolling the skies, and watchful soldiers in watchtowers, as well as manning siege emplacements on the higher walls surrounding the city, keep track of your ship as you come into port. Captain Nephis, as the director of the ship, pulls you into berth on this port here, this side of the port here, I should say, and the crew help fasten the HMS Fortune to its moor. At long last, your journey has ended, or at least this step of the journey has ended.
Hell
The
yeah,
HMS Unfortunate.
What's the rest of the party been up to?
All the fucking storm.
So the party so far has mostly been manning the ship. They've been through 4 weeks of craziness.
You might even catch a glimpse of Vazray flying around.
Flying around?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
I missed that.
That's right, you missed that. Oh shit! I'll let you guys update him on some of the things. I'm going back through my notes right now.
Did she get the wings?
She
Yeah,
did.
the wing.
Wow. That's
She got the
huge.
wings.
Yeah, so we went to the fucking engine seer dude, and we found out if it was possible or not. Found out it was. He I forget how much he said it was going to be initially. It was like thousands of gold.
Like 5,000 or 3,000. It was a lot.
So we basically were able to negotiate it down by helping the gnomes out, which is kind of like a double whammy, because not only did we get a discount, but we also showed the gnomes that we're willing to help protect them, because we went out and we basically annihilated a group of Sahagin that had been harassing their farmers.
Vazray got to pretend to be Vin.
The Flogin Taliban terrorists that were disrupting the fields of rubber.
Vaz was sitting there just performing and singing while the Swagan were going towards her, just like the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
She was bait.
Yeah, I was bait.
Yeah, Carlos basically made up an ambush with the gnomes, and basically they came in I think a group of or 2 and 3, and I forget.
There was a little bit of a drib and drab of three scouts, and then a main force arrived, and then I think you guys polished off 1 or 2 extras that had been left behind.
Yeah, we basically just fucking every time it was they got annihilated in a turn from everyone attacking them. And then after that we tracked down where they were coming from, found the last group that were setting up traps, then we killed them all.
Yeah.
Very efficiently. So Carlos became a minor hero to the gnomes.
He did. And he has his shock gauntlets too now.
I have shock gauntlets.
Big ups.
But yeah, went back and engine seared thing. It took like 3 days or something to make the mechanical wings. Or not really mechanical, or I forget how they were destroyed. It was basically when they're not in use, it's like a cloak that resembles.
Yeah, Vazrai has a
Dragon
cloak
wings?
now, which looks exactly like it has smaller dragon scales of the same color. I think it was white or silver scales. And when she flies, they become rigid and they actually spread from her back and act like wings, like dragon wings. So when she is not flying, looking like what are they called? Urds.
Birds, yeah.
Yeah, so when she's not flying around in her silvery wings, they billow about her like a cloak of dragon skin, is what it looks like.
Yep. And what lasts for an hour at a time?
Yeah, she can fly for about an hour at a time. So after all of that was acquired, Fortune left Steamgate to travel 2 months to New Ravnica. And I think he ended up delaying 1 week, 2 weeks.
There were multiple storms.
Yeah, there was a lot of really crappy weather conditions, and there was a few other ridiculous things that happened. You found an outpost belonging to New Ravnica, but in proper vagabond fashion, it was bypassed in favor of the main objective. And so,
Hell yeah.
after all of that voyage, you have all arrived together at New Ravnica.
Hell yeah. How diverse is this city?
It's pretty incredibly diverse. I tried to show sort of like the color and a little bit of the not confusion, but a little bit of a minorly chaotic nature to this place. So if you're looking at the little city map here, obviously ships to scale and such, you have all sorts of different colors of buildings and architecture, and things are made of different materials. Over here, there's what looks like some sort of like a grove or a more wooded area. Not on the map, but in existence, are large circular donut-like platforms out in the water, made it almost entirely of wood, and they seem as though they've been created in the same way that this little area here has been designed. The gate. It's an archway / gate that is leading to a large staircase, which leads to the only way into New Ravnica itself, the main gatehouse. They are quite formidable and massive. The archway is a palace in its own right in terms of size and scale, and the smaller military base, which is next to it right here, which is the size and forebodingness, I suppose, of like what you would more consider to be a fortress. Like, it's a full fortress, and then the arch just dwarfs the entire thing. The staircase is enough that from a distance, you could probably put 500 men abreast on that staircase, and they'd be touching like side to side. The outer walls and the way into the city itself is quite massive.
Hell yeah. I know you said at one point there were Drow living on the underside of the city.
There are Drow that live in New Ravnica. They don't go by that same name, but they are racially Drow. They look like Drow.
What name do they go by?
I believe they're called Delvikin. I will confirm that for you.
Okay, well, I'll let the party do what they were doing when they were here, or the things that they've been
Nobody
meaning
has
to
stepped
do.
off. nobody has stepped off the boat yet. So everybody together, like nobody's arrived at New RAVNICA. I did not want to start that until this session. So they ended their session seeing it from afar. You have all together arrived just now in real time. There's no fast forwarding or time traveling here.
But we evaded it.
I know.
Yeah.
So.
Devkaran elves are what the Drow are called. They're Vinshenzo, and they are predominantly members of the Golgari Swarm, which is something Ragus would have told you. Or something that Ragus would have mentioned while he was telling his stories about New RAVNICA. And the Golgari Swarm is one of the 10 guilds that exist in New RAVNICA that dominate its legislature, economy, and governmental power structure. The Golgari Swarm is mostly focused around the cycle of nature, but the death and decay side of the cycle of nature. So their sort of mirror image is something called the Selesnya Conclave. And the Selesnya Conclave is made up of your high elves, your wood elves, your loxodons, all those wonderful, beautiful things that think about harmony and nature and love and bees and milk. And the Golgari Swarm thinks of oozes and fungi and insects and moss.
Oh. What a pitiful place to behold. Okay. Yeah. I'll be a follower for now as I get caught up.
Okay. Well, I will. Is anybody willing to hop off the ship first as they come to moor? Because there's a small party of individuals that exit their way and make their approach to the ship as it comes into port.
I would be the first, though I think it's probably best that I be second after the entrance to the gnomish colony.
Well, if you think you could be the first,
I'm just
and
saying
you want to
that
be
I
first.
think I need slow fall here.
Oh, I
don't want to
see,
face
I
plant.
understand.
Yes, look at this beautiful city, New RAVNICA. Blah.
I mean, you could show off your wings.
Could.
Hopefully it's not a no-fly zone. Otherwise, you're going to come into contact with the authorities a lot quicker than anybody else usually does.
I don't get to be a dragon here. I can't have shit in this city.
Can't have shit in Detroit.
Can't have shit in New RAVNICA.
Hell yeah.
I won't flaunt my wings just yet.
You just said you were flying around. You just said that.
During the journey.
During the journey, yeah. So right now it's just the Bahamut cloak appearance right now.
So we've docked at the pier, and I take it our gangplank is down or whatever.
Yeah, you guys are ready. That's all been done in the background for you because you have a captain and crew
Well,
to do those jobs.
Thank you, Captain Nephis.
right.
Thank you, Captain Nephis, for lowering my gangplank. Please continue to handle my plank as much as you please.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would make the most sense for Vinshenzo to go first, but if Seeker doesn't want to, Carlos would be willing to step up and go and debark first.
Vazray will follow behind you.
So as you descend the gangplank, a small entourage of individuals is walking towards you from this large building here, and a gentleman, a finely dressed gentleman wearing white and silvery white robes, sort of like a nice iridescent mother of pearl. Nothing too flashy, but just flashy enough so that you know he's important. He carries a silver and gold amulet, which you recognize as being the amulet of the Azorius Senate, which is the principal government structure and bureaucratic function of this city. He introduces himself to you as he comes close as Master Julius Effervar. He is the harbor master of the Guild Pact Port and representative of the Port Authority here. And he bids you a good day and welcome. He informs you that there is a mandatory docking fee of 1 gold piece per day for the duration of your stay.
Does
I will pay.
Or... so I'm sure the party has probably talked about this at length during their journey. Was there any information that Vinshenzo wanted to keep secret from the new RAVNICans?
Oh.
Yeah, if you guys want to take 2 minutes to figure out that game plan that your characters would have had 2 months to discuss, if you guys want to take 2 minutes and do that, please by all means take a second to figure that out. Vasri
will hear it, but she doesn't really want secrecy if she can help it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bitch. If I know Carlos got me, Carlos got me. You know what I'm saying? Vinshenzo would state to everyone quite delicately that we must keep the location of Sanctuary Isle a secret until we can determine whether or not this is a place that would acknowledge us in the world rather than just
annex us.
Yeah.
Can its name be spoken?
Yeah.
Sure.
So the knowledge of it can be known, and our positions within it. That's fine to divulge, just not where it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Don't betray state secrets.
Sounds good to me.
Hi, my name is Carlos from Sanctuary. I come for a place that has exactly 500 soldiers. None of them know where their spears are. Also, we leave the doors unlocked at night. Nice to meet you.
By the way, we're having a civil war.
You can find us if you...
packages always show up around 2 p.m.
If you travel 156 degrees for exactly 3 months, you'll find our island.
I don't like the Lodge Master. You can take his things.
Everyone sleeps at night. There is no night guardsman.
None.
Absolutely zero.
We must determine if they are a threat before we can disclose such details of our precious home in this strange new world.
Agreed.
Vasri supports that idea.
Anything else?
You just said you were against secrecy. Where do you stand?
No, I mean, it's one thing for national security, where our location is. It was more of what our, overall plan is, if we're intending to deceive the new RAVNICans in general, trying to get something from them.
I mean...
So...
Alright.
One thing I learned very early in life, Miss Pinefall, or Lady Pinefall, is that it's always best to find an angle to play.
Yeah.
What was the
Carlos
name
would
of...
agree with me.
I'm sure he would.
All of life is a game, and how you play is the most important part.
I don't know if I'd put it to so many words, but sure.
Life is like a game of chance, Mr. Vinshenzo. I just know how to rig the dice.
What's the name of the fucking royal guard that
The harbor master there?
No, ours, Sanctuary Island.
The royal guard.
Is the part
that's a really complicated name to pronounce, but it's Cruella Sargiet. Spelled a lot. Yeah, but you just call them the Sarget, which is like the short slang term.
I'll
From the
just refer to it as the Royal
Dalmatians.
Guard.
Yeah,
Is that
Royal
what they
Guard was
are?
fine. That's exactly what they are. Yeah.
Alright.
I don't actually remember how he fucking spelled that name. Not that it matters.
I asked the harbor master what it would
Oh,
cost to
you're
have...
there?
Oh,
Are you there? I thought you weren't there.
I'm with...
you walked down
I'm-
first.
Oh. Okay,
I'm sorry.
not... I was going to accompany the party, but only as, like, a passive observer was my intent.
Okay, that's fine.
Like
I was
Carlos.
under the impression that everybody got down the ramp. It was just Carlos happened to be like standing in front of everyone.
Yes.
Yes, that.
I'm willing to proceed off of that assumption.
That's. Yep.
Well, Carlos is gonna proceed with introductions first, because that makes the most sense.
Hell yeah.
Greetings, I am Duke Carlos Santiago. This here is a member of our Royal Guard, Miss
Azrael nods.
Vazray Pinefall. And then we have our illustrious King Vinshenzo Cairona. We come to you as delegates of Sanctuary Island.
Fuck the wizard.
He's there too.
Look, I'm just there.
Oh, you're there too? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him.
Look, if you don't announce that you're with me, I'm not gonna know you're with me, fuckers.
I can't believe that Carlos would so easily forget my name.
Okay, he'd also introduce Paelias Maenendon as the court wizard, I guess, right before introducing Vinshenzo.
Sure.
Heck yeah. The harbor master bows graciously. Are you displaying any overt symbols of authority or scrolls of pedigree or symbols of office or anything that you might have on you? Collectively?
I mean, if they're asked, Carlos does have his
Yeah.
pedigree
If he
dukedom.
asks for it, I will, but this is just a harbor master, dude.
Yeah.
He's just a lowly. I'm just curious to set the scene of that. But he's gonna bow quite deeply, and he's gonna say,
flash my
"Oh,
my ring.
your black ass." That's Nephis from on the ship.
I forgot my pants were down.
So he bows deeply, and his aides match the stupor of their master, and he says, "Ah, yes, well met, my noble sires and lady. Please, I feel most honored to be the first to invite you into our great city. It is most pleasant to meet newcomers, especially newcomers who've never visited our island before. I presume it's the first chance. I pride myself on knowing flags and the sails, and I must say your ship is new. Am I correct?"
Correct.
"Oh, well,
have traveled
whatever your business seems to be, my noble sirs, please ensure that you stop by the harbor master's office to pick up your visas so you can access the city. And do behave. The Boros Legion, they happen to be on a little bit of a high alert right now, and I wouldn't want you getting tangled up into any unnecessary misunderstandings. It would not be a good first impression of our mighty city to such powerful men and women such as yourselves."
High alert, you say? I hope nothing's terribly amiss.
"No, they like performing drills every once in a while. The Boros Legion is disciplined and well educated in the rites of war, and they like to keep themselves sharp and on edge. Oh, sometimes this does also intermingle with their law enforcement duties, and sometimes just letting out a cackle of smugglers and thieves turns into a military exercise, so just if you notice a congregation of gods, pay your manners.
Oh,
And he gives you a
my.
wink.
Well, we'd never dream of being disrespectful, being guests of your city.
No, such elegance from you, sirs. I despise any thought of ne'er-do-wellism.
Certainly so. Now about your payment, fair harbor master.
Ah, yes, as I mentioned, 1 gold piece a day for docking fees of non-RAVNICA ships. However, that sort of informality, I'm sure you have aides and equerries, and they can speak to my aides and equerries. Somebody as fine as yourself doesn't have to do anything paltry as touching coin. And he, rolls his eyes and very dramatic about it. Oh, please. If you would like, I can escort you to the harbor master's office myself and ensure that you're set up with the proper paperwork for traveling into our city with no unnecessary delays.
Certainly. How much would it be for permanent stay for one of our ships? I imagine we will be frequenting this place.
The harbor master bows deeply once more, and he adopts a very over-the-top expression of pained sadness, and he says, "Alas and alack, my noble sir, I'm but a humble servant of the Senate, and that is beyond my authority to control, but I would be most honored to make your acquaintance with the man in charge who could prevail upon you such permissions, if you so desire."
Oh, is this guy not the harbor master?
He's the harbor master, but he's not. He's a cheese, but he's not the big cheese.
Oh, okay.
His job, he explains to you, is he ensures that the ports run smoothly, but he is not the one who's allowed to give permission for anything longer than just sort of day-to-day running. He's not special permission guy, he is ensuring the cogs continue to turn guy.
Very well. I'll flick him a gold coin and tell him to have his boss come find me in the finest of establishments later. And
Yes,
we can discuss terms over drink.
Are you intending to stay within the confines of the port city, my noble sirs? As I mentioned earlier, I must insist. If you do decide to venture forth through the archway, please ensure that you've gotten your visas and your paperwork beforehand to allow a smooth transition into the city proper.
Yes.
This
We'd
port
like to have
is
those
meant for
delivered.
outsiders. Oh, it's delivered. I'm sure that can be arranged. Yes, I see no trouble at all. Do you have an aide or a confidant who could potentially foray down to the office and assist with the delivery of such papers?
You may have them delivered to the captain of this vessel, and we will have them here upon our return when we come to collect our luggage.
A dignified suggestion, if I do say so myself. Then he swats his aide standing right beside him on the shoulder. Right down. What you doing, you fool? Did you not see that we are wasting this nobleman's time? And he starts shrilling it. Yes, master. Yes. Please allow me to spare you so much more indignified protocol and pomp. If you would like, I can personally escort you to the nearest of notable taverns for you to be able to dine on a delectable cuisine, or perhaps partake in some of our fine local liqueurs. Whatever tickles your fancy, I'm sure we can provide here in RAVNICA, the city of all.
I'm confident you can, but we've quite the day ahead of us with sightseeing and sampling and what have you, so you may deliver the visas to the ship's captain, and It will be about the port here until they arrive.
Yes, of course. And he like backs up to get out of your way, and he does another one of his big sweeping bows. Please enjoy the great city, and if you so desire any assistance at all, remember my name is Julius Evervire, Harbor Master.
Very well, good sir.
And he backs out of your way, so you may proceed unimpeded, gesturing wildly at the rest of his entourage to like get the fuck out of the way, kind of thing.
And kind of rolls his eyes at the party.
Carlos gives a smirk.
Character, but at least it's a fine city, it seems.
But the pomp he displays brings up some troubling memories.
Quite exhausting indeed.
I remember having to rub shoulders with those people.
Yes.
Usually dim-witted and easy to part from their money.
Yes, Mr. Carlos, this is the type of place I was talking about so long ago. Opportunity knocks nearly at every block.
Almost as loudly as Vin does.
Vazra keeps quiet,
Yeah.
just listening to the two plan and plot.
Does she give any looks, or is she just blank-faced?
She just looks at the two of them, just being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you
don't
two?"
know our history. Shut up.
She doesn't.
You know what we've been through.
She doesn't know your history that much,
You
so
don't-
it's just kind of like
you
just
don't know
listening.
we were scammers.
Yeah, she's like
Fucking
giving
word.
you guys funny looks. Like, the hell's wrong with you guys?
Remember that time in
little more than street performers.
what was that city? The city of Dale? The city of that big stupid one where you guys had that racket with the betting and the performance for like a month? Jesus.
Yeah.
That was in Vales, right?
Vale.
Something
There
that
we
was,
go.
It
yeah.
was Vales.
Our fucking the big
Freaking
scale.
Carlos and just Finn just having a heyday.
History.
Our
Okay.
skills have only improved since then.
Indeed. Those were good times back before the cataclysm. Probably see about dealing with that at some point.
Maybe. No, it's fine. I like the sun being pastel nebula colors.
Perhaps there's a learned scholar that Mr. Paelias could speak to about whatever it is that's happening in the sky.
Meanwhile, I
Perhaps-
could attempt to converse with Bahamut eventually.
Aren't you always doing that, Lady Pinefall?
I can't hear his voice right now.
This is a big city. I wonder what the chances are of you finding a cleric of Bahamut.
I'm hoping that my chances are quite high.
In a city such as this, a variety of customs and religions must be vast.
I'm just glad to know that he's still around.
Yes. Well, lead on, Mr. Carlos. You have a knack for urban planning, shall I say.
Anywhere in particular you want to find?
Anywhere but here. I didn't quite like the cut of the jib of that harbor master.
Well, if we're going to be here a while, are we going to be sleeping on the ship, or will we be finding an inn here?
I will be seeking an inn.
And I suppose we should find a good one.
DM,
Yes.
Hello.
The most
I'm willing-
illustrious.
I'm willing to take Coco with me off the ship. He's been on the ship for a while. He probably would like to come off and...
Oh,
You're willing, are you? Well, I'm willing to let you try.
I take my cat off the ship.
Oh. Suddenly,
my cat
guards
was
come
here.
from all angles. No, I'm just kidding.
Cats are forbidden here.
I meant to ask, can I cast Sending to Rabbit?
I don't see why not.
I would like to ask Rabbit with Sending, what the status of her voyage is.
So you've been voyaging for 2 months. Rabbit is home. Rabbit has reached and Sanctuary Island, and your letter has been delivered.
Okay. And,
It names.
I'll cast it again.
Okay.
I ask if there's a message to be returned.
Rabbit informs you that there is a message and a gift coming that Rabbit is bringing back to you.
You stupid animal. I cast Sending again. How long, Rabbit?
What you ask?
How long will it be till he gets here, or she gets here?
Oh shit!
What
How
this
fast
animal?
It has no
How
concept
fast
of
is-
time.
Yeah. Pegasus does not know what time
It
is.
has intelligence like +8.
It's not. It's 10. There's no bonus or detractor to intelligence. It is
Oh, it's-
about as smart as your normal human. So yeah, okay. Just give me a second to read the fly speed so I can actually do the math. Fly 90 feet. Okay.
It's by special rules that'd be what 9 miles an hour, I think.
Yeah. So it'll take a couple months.
Damn. Okay. I guess I don't have
Only-
air support.
If only that duration could be made quicker by the use of some sort of incantation.
Oh, I do have air support. I have Azure. Hell yeah.
Vazray bows to you.
Knight loves it. I allow Carlos to lead the party.
Okay.
Or
Carlos.
whoever
Okay.
wants to, honestly, but Vinshenzo would trust Carlos in a big urban city like this the most.
Hell yeah. Carlos will venture forth. In particular, he'd be looking for, I guess, the nicest inn they can find.
So, the nicest inn you can find is a rather elegantly built structure. It is. Is it this one? Yeah, it is. This one right here. Conveniently,
Oh wow,
Um,
right on the docks.
pretty much right off the docks. Yeah, that's quite lucky. And it is known as the Wayfarer's Rest. The Wayfarer's Rest is about 3 stories tall. It is made of wood, lined with copper and a few other quite lovely decorations. It's clear that the people who have taken charge of building and maintaining this place have no small measure of skill in construction and architecture and masonry and everything in between. It's quite a beautiful building. You enter in, if you choose to enter into the Wayfarer's Rest Tavern, you find number of crews from the other ships that are docked at port that are spending time within this tavern. And while it might be a tavern by name, it is not necessarily a tavern that you have experienced before due to the grandiose nature of everything. As you walk inside, you feel as though you've entered into, for lack of any other comparison, a veritable ballroom. Except instead of a wide open space for dancing and fancy parties, there's a number of tables that have been put in place so that patrons can wine and dine and lose all of their money. There's a small stage where a band is playing. They all have foreign wind instruments that you've never quite heard before, and with the different sounds and scales, it reverberates around the room with the acoustics, kind of rumbling and vibrating your diaphragm or whatever it is when you get hit by that beautiful bass note. Your entire inside just kind of go. You get that every once in a while when they hit a low note. Think didgeridoos, except less Australian.
I
The tavern
ask, nearby patron if this is the nicest inn in all the city.
Oh, I wouldn't say old city, says a half-elf who happens to be sitting nearby. Right, but it's definitely the best place in the port. Unless you got your papers, you won't find nothing else.
What's the nicest inn in all the city? The nicest parlor?
Roll insight on this man as he
Oh.
answers.
Is he trying to rob me? Just kidding, I don't care.
Kidding, I don't care.
Joke's on you, I got nothing to steal.
What am I rolling? Insight?
Insight.
Oh. Insight is +5, I think it would be. 17.
I also rolled 17.
Nice. So you can tell that this half-elf isn't exactly what you would call leaning towards the upstanding, quiet golf country club sort of side of things, and he seems more like the gambler and the bar fighter and the raucous underground enjoyer. And his eyes light up when you ask him this question, and he says, "Oh, if you be wanting the greatest time and the best pub in the city, you'd have to go to the Club of Rakdos. There's no finer establishment. They've got the best musicians, the finest drink, and the ladies are angelic."
The best musicians, you say?
Oh, they've got everything.
Finn's eyes light up.
Best keep to the levels at which you're so inclined to stay. One who wanders might see more than they expect, though. And he kind of gives a little snigger. And a couple of his other buddies nearby also chuckle at the remark. "It's not for kind folk," says the other half-elf sitting next to him, "but it's worth the adventure."
Oh. Hell yeah. This seems like a proper place, Mr. Carlos, but I think we should find better accommodations once our papers come.
Are we waiting for the vistas, or do we have to go get them?
Vinshenzo made it entirely clear that somebody was going to go and deliver the visas to Captain Nephis. And then Nephis would hand them to you guys.
Copy.
When they're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose while we're waiting, we might as well check this place out. So we have a good
Yes.
baseline to compare the others to, after all.
Ah!
Alright, did I hit you with my tail?
I stubbed my toe, Mr. Carlos. It hurts. Kiss it to make it feel better.
So your boots are for show.
These are not steel toe boots.
That was my pinky toe.
Oh.
I'm
And
very
Shinzo
sorry
takes
to hear that,
1d4
Finn.
blunt damage.
Would you like me to mage armor your shoes?
Just the shoes, though, nothing else.
Just my walking shoes. They've gotten quite ragged in our travels.
Could you please mage armor my Doc Martens for me, that's right?
Here?
Shall we?
Yeah, you want to explore the place more? You can totally explore the place more. You want to sit and have a drinky poo? You can do that too.
Absolutely.
The tavern keep is a gentleman named Rodkin. He's a human male, and he is hanging out at the little counter that he's got lining one of the walls. He's free to be questioned if you so desire. Otherwise, it is Not quite midday. It's late morning. Still a respectable time to go out and do things, but not late in the day that you have to worry about the clock. So if you would like to go and just explore, you may do that as well and see what the sights are to see. The port is free and open for you. For now.
Vin will observe the entertainment on display at this establishment, if any.
The band is a quartet of strange-looking creatures. They look similar to the constructs that you'd found 800 million years ago in terms of design, but they are much slimmer, more elegant, and they seem to softly glow in multicolored light that slowly changes color, I should say.
Look, Carlos, AI is stealing my job.
ET took my job. Yep. So there's a quartet of them. They're playing for the moment. You can see that there's like a small, I think it's called the vomitorium, where you prepare to go on stage before going on stage, and it looks like somebody's hanging out in the wings.
Not a vomitorium.
What is the vomitorium?
Vomitorium is where you go to vomit.
Wasn't that a misnomer?
I think it was like a thing.
The vomitorium is a passage situated below or behind a tier of seats in an amphitheater or stadium through which big crowds can exit. Oh, okay, so it definitely isn't that. No matter what, I was wrong. But there's somebody waiting in the wings to perform next. It looks like it's not just the same band that's going to be there forever. It looks like they have a rotation.
I thought it was like a thing where like because it's such a lavish party, you're overeating, so you like go make yourself puke. I don't know.
The vomitorium specifically in like theater, and when I mean theater, I mean the theater. There's like a place called vomitorium, and I was under the mistaken impression that is the place where you wait before you have to get like on stage. So it was called the vomitorium because you're sitting there and you're like, shit, I'm about to perform, and then you puke and then you go on because like nerves.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I was wrong as well, so it doesn't matter what my theory is because I proved myself wrong with a quick Google search.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks,
Ooh.
Google.
My liege, I have a question.
What is it, Lady Pinefall?
Do you require my protections, or may I go seeking a Temple of Bahamut somewhere in this city?
You may do as you please, Lady Pinefall, though I am not sure of the company we keep in such a vast city. So you be careful as well.
Do keep in mind that until those visas arrive, we're limited to the port.
Yes.
And I don't believe you'd have much luck finding a temple here, at least one of Bahamut's. I suppose there's no harm in looking.
It's okay. If we are restricted to this part of the city, I will not leave it. I may just simply ask a guard if I can.
Yes.
Well, unless something...
I think it's you that should consider protection, Lady Pinefall.
Me consider protection?
While you are quite capable of a dame such as yourself out on your own is something to consider.
I appreciate the concern, but I can handle myself. And I'll have Coco with me.
Do send
Dame
word
such
if
as
you
yourself.
run into trouble.
I will. Thank you, my lord. And Vazre is going to begin exploring the area, trying to find a guard and ask about a Temple of Bahamut somewhere in the city.
Okay. You don't have to travel very far away from the docks to find a guard. And what you end up finding is a Minotaur dressed in a Boros Legion uniform, leaning up against a wall, chatting with what looks like some servant of the Azorius Senate, also dressed for battle, but his robes and such are more of a less of a frontline combat plate armor kind of thing, and more of cloth robes with accessible pockets and what looks to be leather armor. And he's dressed in a navy blue cloak. And they're both chatting and smoking. And as you walk up, they both turn to look at you.
It actually sounds rather pleasant. Also, he's probably freaking tall, so my head is like all the way back. Like
Yes, the Minotaur is very big. The other one's a human. His comrade in blue is a human.
Excuse me. May I have your attention for just a moment?
They're both looking at you, and they say, "Yes, how can I help you, traveler?" says the Azorius man.
Would there happen to be a Temple of Bahamut in this city?
Oh, a Temple of Bahamut! Ah,
yeah,
that makes sense. A question of you, from a little thing like you. There's one in the city proper, but they haven't made the presence known in the port city yet. I think there's plans in a few months, but you'll have to wait. You have your passport, young thing.
I am currently waiting for it.
Well, he pulls out a pencil and he jots down a little address and he says, "Here." And he rips off the tab. "Here, when you get your visa and you're all allowed in, that's the location of the temple."
She looks at it for a moment. Would there happen to be a map of the city to go with this?
He scratches his head. "Well, I have a map of the city," and he gives you a wink, "but you're not allowed to see that. It's got information that's meant for me and not for you. You must understand." And he taps his badge politely.
I understand. In that case, if you do not mind, I'm going to continue exploring around here for a bit more until my pass is ready.
Yes. Be safe. Many blessings to you, young traveler.
Thank you so much. And she's going to leave them alone and start heading more this direction, just kind of looking about the... if I can ask one more question before you guys, you deal with that.
All the questions you want, Vazrai.
Is there any kobolds here?
That's too many questions. You're not allowed.
Fuck.
You don't notice any kobolds. You do notice goblins, but they are Ragus goblins, not the filthy, murderous pieces of crap.
She tries to make sure to push it to the back of her head.
I will say to you, quite bluntly, there are several goblins amongst some of the guard patrols that are in uniform with weapons that are obviously members of the Boros Legion.
Yeah,
take your input from that as you will, but there are goblins as part of the city guard / standing army.
She's going to keep half an eye.
A Blue Lives Matter believer.
What the hell? Well, no kobolds here, but that does make me curious to if there might be somewhere else in the city. So she's very curious to see what the inhabitants are like.
I am too.
All right, go to the others.
The others? What are you up to?
Carlos would be at the bar, and he would ask the barkeep what they have.
I accompany Carlos to the bar.
What do they have? They have a wide array of wares. They have one of the two really beautiful things about the Wayfarer's Rest that you won't find in most other parts of New RAVNICA. Number one, they are in front of the import duty area, so they don't have to worry about paying import taxes. Number two, they're directly in front of the foreign docks, which means that they get sort of their pick of the litter when it comes to things that are arriving in New RAVNICA. So they have a whole lot of exotic stuff from what the guy is telling you, like he's telling you about how crazy and strange and great it is, but because you guys aren't from around here, kind of like the homegrown menu and the exotic menu to you are just as foreign as each other. It's like going to India and being told that their foreign Chinese cuisine is ecstatic. It's like there's Indian food and Chinese food. It's all foreign anyways. If that makes any sense.
What is your most popular drink?
Oh, says Rodkin. And he will tell you right now. He tells you that there is quite a wonderful stout that has just come from a ship that's pulled into harbor, and he's on special right now because the shipmaster set aside a little stock for him, as this establishment is a favorite of the captain's, and he can give you pint for a silver piece.
Oh.
Or, if you're willing to drink by the gallon,
Oh.
5 silver pieces.
What a deal.
Yes. It's called the Flint Island Stout. It's a dark amber beer with a pleasant finish.
And what about your most popular liquor?
Oh. Well, are you looking for something from New Ravnica, or are you just looking for something good?
Something good is all that matters.
I have a particular brandy that's well on its shelf. It's an apple brandy made from the Conclave called Maroon Queen. This is a two-year-old vintage. It'll only cost you 4 silver pieces for a shot. And if you like the bottle, it's going for 2 gold.
Wow.
I had to arm wrestle a Loxodon to get this, and I'll tell you what, there are no easy customers.
Tell you what, allow me a sip, and if I like it, I will buy the bottle.
I'll give you a sip if you give me a copper.
He would flick a copper piece onto the counter.
He'd slide a measure across in a crystal thimble glass to you, and he pours a little measure for himself as well.
Oh.
Any excuse to drink the apple brandy.
Carlos would take the tiny thimble-sized glass, and he'd give it a sniff before drinking it.
Smells like pretty damn good apple brandy.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff. Kind of singes your nose hairs a little. It's quite proofed. But it burns going down, feels good coming out.
I have to say, it's been, I don't think, it's probably been a long time since he's had any brandy.
You, I think, are limited currently to a selection of, like, tropical wines and rum.
Yeah.
And whatever other crazy shenanigans the dwarves are making up. But this is proper brandy from a proper distillery.
It has been too long. I will have it. And Carlos would drop 2 gold pieces onto the counter.
Oh, he says and chuckles, and he slides he takes the bottle that he poured a measure for you, and he puts it to the side, and he tosses one up artfully and passes you a full bottle, unopened, fresh in its little parchment wrapping and everything with a little wax seal, and he says, I wouldn't enjoy it all at once if I were you. You might accidentally find yourself woken up swimming.
Don't worry, I will be careful.
Yeah, and he pops the cork out of the bottle that is already open with his teeth, and he takes a little swig, and he says, it's dangerous stuff, this.
Tell me, barkeep, I'm seeking a particular vintage of wine. Perhaps you could help me locate it if your sourcing skills are as predominant as you say.
He rests his elbows on the table and regards you directly, and he says, "My sourcing skills aren't an issue. If it exists, I can find it. The real question is, what's your price?"
I seek the velvet turtle. Remember that?
I don't think that shit exists anymore. Yeah, he scratches his head. Velvet turtle, eh? Alright. I'll see what I can do. But I know I don't have any in my pantry, if that's what you're asking. But I know a few friends about. What say you come back later this evening? I should have it by then.
Sounds like a like a deal. For now, hand me a glass so that I may share some of this fine apple brandy with my compatriot.
Yeah, he
Is
slides
Paelias
over.
here?
Is Paelias at the bar?
No.
Okay.
No.
One glass.
He slides across a crystal tumbler to you, so you may, so that you may be partaking.
And I will give Carlos. Where is it?
A single copper piece.
I'll give Carlos a. Oh no!
Oh,
Can
he
you-
deleted his notes.
Can you
Reverse time.
Control Z, please? I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no,
Oh,
let's put it
no.
press. There you go.
I
I was not
immediately knew what
expecting
happened.
Okay.
Shit.
Just oh no.
I didn't know I left it unlocked. How dangerous. I will give Carlos a rolled cigarette and I'll strike a match
Oh.
for him to puff on. Or I'll make one for myself too.
Nice.
And I will-
Find a way to enjoy a brandy.
Yes. I'll
Brandy
cheers Carlos and
Fine
say
tobacco.
to good fortune.
Hey, to fortune. Carlos would pour them each a glass of brandy.
Oh, I still haven't
The
named my
barkeep, who hasn't
child.
bothered to
I was
move,
gonna cheers.
he
I
he
just
also
remembered.
raises a glass and cheers with you. Yeah, name your fucking child, you horrible father figure.
I think if Amathray would have her way, it'd be to Amathray 2. And she would
That
have
is-
her way.
That is sort of the naming convention of her family as well. But I think she loves Vinshenzo enough that she would at least give him a facade of a choice.
I think it's probably Oh, yeah, I think I actually talked about this with you, and as the babe Amathray would be little Amy or something.
That's absolutely adorable.
Yeah, I think we talked about. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will cheers my child as well. I'll to
Toast to your child's
good,
health.
good life, good health. Have a good life. I went out for cigarettes and I'm never coming back.
Oh my god.
Where did
Where's
Daddy
Daddy?
go, Mommy? Well, he went to New RAVNICA for some cigarettes and never came back.
He went up for some milk. I'm still waiting.
He went 6 months away to get cigarettes. Oh my god.
How many months into the journey are we?
3 and a bit.
Damn. So I think she's probably popped out then, right? Wasn't it like 2 months to...
Your child was born before you left, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, then your
I thought it
child
was.
The child was born shortly around the period of you leaving.
Oh yeah, because we were waiting for like Nephis to get his ship upgrade or something. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. I still cheers to her health though.
Hell yeah.
I pray that my work here makes for a better world that she may grow up in,
She may rule someday,
rather than
says Amithray.
the ruins that we live in squalor with. Even the city is in ruin.
Yeah.
State of decline.
Just as an aesthetic note, if you're aware of the general concept of like hive cities from 40K, that they're just even general, like those big megalopolises that are built on the bones of like the city's past. The city that you're walking around in, like the streets and stuff, it is really nice.
Yeah.
Like clean, pristine, but it is absolutely like you look out to sea and you can see like skeletal tower peaks and stuff like that. You can actually see it on the map because I thought it was kind of cool that I could do it. So that like there's structures and stuff around, and you can see barges and guys that are actively like taking chunks of metal and stones and stuff that are already being cut to save themselves time. And you can see evidence from a few stones in the poorer quarters. Those of you who travel about, like some of the buildings are being built out of recycled materials.
Place is shaping up nice.
If you dug down like inside the city, like how deep would it just be old road? You know,
Find out,
Indian burial ground.
Yeah, it's you go deep enough and you're gonna find some pretty funky stuff.
oh, time for some spelunking.
Oh, is there
Yeah.
like a French, like ancient, like, you know how there's like a
mausoleum,
like
no.
giant mausoleum under Paris or something?
Yeah, you'd go into that mausoleum and then you'd find like a sewer grate at the bottom of the mausoleum, and it would open up into like the grand plaza of something that existed 2,000 years ago or some shit like that. Like it,
Oh,
like
it's like
you could go under and
Futurama.
you could find an entire other city under that city.
Dude, this
Well, hell
place
yeah,
is
dude.
cool.
That's where the kobolds are.
And the Drow and the Dwergar.
Time to go spelunking.
Okay, so you
Time
guys
to
are gonna-
abandon Chris's new RAVNICA and just dig down.
Yeah, I mean that's still fun in New RAVNICA. I can still have fun with that.
Carlos, if you dig straight down, you can find diamonds.
Oh,
The first rule of D&D is to never dig straight down.
Well,
Remember, when looking for diamonds, always mine at a 2x2 square.
dear lord.
hell yeah, dude. Alright, what the hell was Paelias doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
stole the words out of my mouth. What is Paelias doing?
Exploring the docks. This area in particular, if I can check it out without a visa.
Stand by. I was actually tabbed out. Give me 1 second.
He's
He
in
wants to go
other
to the
room.
grassy knoll.
Oh, it froze a little bit. Okay, which one?
The grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll. Yes, you can explore there freely. So you wander as you get closer to this lovely green space. The demographics of the population around you change fairly significantly. There are still Boros legionnaires about, and there are still your common folk. And when I say common folk, we're talking about a myriad of humans, elves, Devalkin, which are like Captain Collins, the blue guys. A few other sort of general species. There's some gnomes and such like that. But as you get closer, it starts becoming much more fey. And as you arrive at the wide open gates of the small conclave, you are greeted by 2 Loxodons who are patiently abiding outside the gate. And they bob their heads as you arrive, and they say, "Welcome."
Greetings.
It's
What
free
is
to
this
pass
place?
if you wish. This This is the center of the Selesnya Aqua Farms, says one of the Loxodons. It is where we manage all of the installations around the city and ensure that food goes in for all.
I see.
There are a few other interesting resources about, but for the most part, this is the Selesnya Conclave's presence in the outer city, says the Loxodon. Feel free to wander if you wish, visitor. You are one of the Feywild faith. You are free to pass as you wish.
Then I shall take a look around.
Heck yeah. So the Selesnya Conclave doesn't look like it was built so much as it was grown. Most of the structures have large roots and trees intertwined with them. The main center here is actually a large tree, and the stone that's intermixed with it almost kind of looks like it's the color of bone or ivory. And as you're walking around, looking closer, it kind of looks a lot like ivory too. And somebody has taken a lot of time to carve intricate patterns and murals into the surface of the ivory. A number of elves, centaurs, humans, and loxodons in various simple robes toil about. Some of them are carrying bundles of fish. Others seem as though they are drying out long strands of kelp fibers and other such seafood as they walk about. You notice a number of individuals seeming to be practicing magic in a ritual in the commons, muttering and mumbling as a few look on.
Can I attempt to determine what kind of magical ritual they are performing?
You absolutely can. Which that would be Arcana.
It's time.
It's
I have level
time.
14.
Hooray! Plus
I get-
800 to your roll.
No, I get advantage on all Arcana checks while I have my spell book on me.
Fucking yeah. Get her done. He knows everything now.
Just needs to roll average.
It's not the worst.
Well, that's 23?
I would like, because I'm incredibly curious, I would like to know what your bonus is for Arcana right now, with all of the fixing
10.
attached. Wow,
I have
that's so
plus 10
cool.
I have plus 10 to intelligence skills and plus
Oh,
9
man.
to wisdom skills.
Paelias just knows everything. He's got all the books memorized. You can tell that they're attempting to summon something. You're not 100% sure what it is that they're summoning because that requires the thing to have been summoned.
I will observe the ritual and maybe take some notes.
Heck yeah. After a couple minutes, as rituals, while they do take a long time, you did walk in partway through. After a few minutes of watching, the ritual casters are all sat cross-legged in a circle, holding hands and muttering softly an incantation. And after, let's say like 5 minutes or so, the grass in the center of the circle and the plant life begin to morph and change. Roots begin to slowly creep up out of the ground, spiraling upwards until they create a human shape, a human-like shape out of the roots. And from this bundle comes a dryad.
That's neat.
And as the ritual is finished, the casters stand and they move towards the dryad and all place their hands on its on its sort of chest and arms and shoulders, depending on what height the creature touching it is, and they all bid it welcome in. Do you know Sylvan? Are you a speaker of the Sylvan tongue?
I believe so. Yeah. Yes, I
You
do.
are.
I
So
speak many languages. I also have a helm of comprehend languages.
And they bid it a communal welcome in Sylvan, celebrating its creation and welcoming it into the fold of the conclave. And after a moment or two, the head caster sort of dismisses the rest of the circle, and they congregate and gaggle for a little bit, chit-chatting amongst each other. And the dryad goes off with the ritual caster into the not the main building, but one of these side buildings here. They begin walking in that direction at least. One of the participants in the ritual notices your observations and comes over. It's a wood elf, a she elf of the wood elf variety, and she bobs her head politely and greets you and says, welcome, Master Elf, to the Selesnya Conclave. I noticed you observing a creation of life. Is there any curiosities you wish to unveil yourself of?
No, I was exploring the docks and while waiting for my visa, and came across your ritual. So, as a fellow spellcaster, I was intrigued.
She nods her head sagely, and she says, yes. First time comer, I see. Well, please ensure you do enjoy your time here, and I do bless that you spend it here wisely under the watchful eye of the world soul, and keep at peace. She sort of gestures in the direction of the big ass tree ivory structure, and she says, a midday meal will be served soon. It is open and free for all to share if you so desire. I know travel can be hard and arduous. If you need to rest, the doors of Matsalesnia are open to you.
I give her a polite bow and, say thanks, and then let her get on with her day.
She offers to like guide you around if you need like a pair of eyes in the compound. And if you are uninterested in that, then she will take her leave. But she just kind of like politely offer, like, I can show you around if you like, and answer any questions. But if you're set, she'll go back to her duties.
I would ask if there are any magic shops in the docks area overall, including the conclave, or if that's located in the main city.
She informs you that there are shops within the port. However, their stock is limited due to the public nature of the place. However, there's a greater variety of magical stores of many different types and dispositions within the city itself, depending on what it is you're interested in. She tells you that there's potion makers and scroll scribes, as well as enchanters and all sorts of various things that are up for operation in the city walls of New RAVNICA. Whereas the shops out in the guild port are more dealing with goods that have made it to the port but not made it through the customs, as well as like your standard components and such like that
Alright.
People who need to fill their pouches. Yeah.
Well, I bid her for farewell, and then I take a seat somewhere and just enjoy the scenery for a bit.
Heck yeah. As a DM note to all my beautiful little players, because Ragus, the NPC, has been on board the ship for a very long time, and you guys have known him for a very long time, at any point in time, if you're looking at something, you're like, I'd really like to roll history on that. It'll be like, basically you're recalling if Ragus has told you about a thing or not, and that's sort of like the history side of things. So even though you guys have never been here before, you do have access in terms of in lore, in backstory, you have access to Ragus's knowledge quite free. So a good history roll represents him having told you about a thing before.
Alright.
Just for those of you who are sitting there going like, I'd really like to just be able to. You have that resource available to you for RP or questions or anything. Yeah. So you're just gonna hang out till the visas arrive. Okay. And Vagorite, you are wandering around the city.
I have another
Deadly.
question as I'm moving along.
Okay.
Aside from trying to look for more Bahamut people as well as kobolds, do I see any obvious depictions of other religions in my area, such as Umberlee or any other?
There are some visitors and travelers that are wandering around the port that are outwardly carrying their icons of worship. There are clerics and paladins and holy men accompanying such, as well as priests and chaplains who are going about their business, and they carry their own religious icons. You recognize a few of them. Some of them seem rather strange. They're not
strange.
Let me put this in a very neutral, matter-of-fact way. You see all manner of dispositions and alignments on display. However, everybody is behaving themselves and acting with respect.
Interesting.
If that makes
All
sense.
right. I mean, that would make sense, especially if this is a diverse city that they'd probably have to play along. So.
Yeah, you are also very well aware from your wanderings. Vazarai would be most intimately aware of exactly how heavily presenced law enforcement and security is in this port, and it's like there's every once in a while, and whenever I say every once in a while, I mean like every 2 or 3 city blocks, you'll see like a column of a dozen guards marching through the streets. And you see Griffin riders and Azorius lawmen sort of lurking in quarters or drifting up in the wind currents above you.
All right. Is there any of these religious symbols depicting Bahamut or Tiamat?
Roll me investigation. And if you're interested in unstranging the strange ones, you can. No, I'll get it to it. I don't want to unnecessarily homework myself, but if you encounter something that's strange, you can always religion to identify their thing.
The lag. Oh, there we go. 19 for investigation.
19 for investigation. You do notice a worshipper of Tiamat.
Uh-oh.
But you also see a trio of priests of Bahamut near the main square before the arch. The worshipper of Tiamat is seen exiting a shop like somewhere around here. And you know he's a worshipper of Tiamat because it's a rather brutish-looking human. He almost seems like a half-human, as he's got looks more like an infectious skin disease than it does a hybridization. But he's got like patches of dragon scale that are erupting from his face and his bared arms, and the image, the symbol of Tiamat is tattooed on his shoulder, for pretty much all the world to see.
Vazray's eyes widen. It must be a sorcerer of some kind, one of a draconic bloodline. This is just something that kind of happens even amongst their society. Do the Bahamut people see this Tiamat worshipper?
No, there are two different. Well, so Tiamat guy's over here, and throughout your wandering, you would have found the 3 priests of Bahamut, and they are dragonborn over here near the arch, near this a section of the plaza.
She spends a little bit of her time looking at this person with the Tiamat tattoo. She's trying very hard to decide if she wants to go visit the Dragonborn or chase this evildoer a little bit, or figure out where the hell they're going, if anything. She finds it interesting that Bahamut and Tiamat would be able to behave in this city together, considering the war and everything. I guess it may
seems
act as
incredibly
a sort of,
unlikely.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, but at the same time, perhaps their heavenly war is told to go to neutrality here in this place. So, put the
Quite
axe
possible.
down. Yeah.
Truly, the priests of Bahamut are the only ones who can define his great intentions here.
Yes. She is going to watch the Tiamat person for just a moment from where she's standing.
He appears to be. So he leaves the store and he turns entirely in the opposite direction from you. He starts walking down the block, and after passing by a couple other shops, he disappears inside a store that has a sign up front. It appears to be selling navigational supplies, as well as like quills and parchment and such like that.
Coco, you want a mission?
Meow.
I'm going to talk to the
Yeah.
Dragonborn for a moment. Would you be so kind as to keep an eye on that Tiamat worshipper for me? Don't have to go too close. Good boy. Alright.
Coco is watching the Tiamat observer worshiper for
Yes,
stores.
in a city this size, there's probably temples to Tiamat as well.
And
Hmm.
While
remember,
they may be hidden.
if we are separated for whatever reason for too long, by nighttime, I want you back near the boat. That way I know where you're at.
Coco will follow those instructions.
Okay. Good luck, Coco. Coco will go that way, and Vazray is going to go talk to the Bahamut people.
Awesome. They're standing in front of that very lovely-looking blue building there. Speaking among themselves, they
Over here
seem
by the gate, or?
you're in the right place.
Ah,
Y'all good to go.
so much lag.
yeah.
Oh god.
So
Yeah.
oh yeah, those numbers are starting to creep up there. I see them now. Yeah, so they're talking about themselves. They're loitering in the corner nearby, and as you grow closer, one of them notices you and waves politely.
Are they all Dragonborn?
3 dragonborn priests of Bahamut.
3 Highborn. This is a hell of a day. Okay.
Azra is beside herself.
Yeah, she walks up to them excited. You were here.
Yes, I am, says the first one, and you are here too. Quite a blessing on this beautiful day.
Please tell me that there is some place of Bahamut in this place, that there is a place to worship.
Ah, there is indeed, child. Are you here to worship too?
Probably
It would be-
can identify her iconography.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
She's got the blade. She's got the iconography on her cloak.
She's decked out in finery.
Yeah, like she's got the colors.
She
To
has
include the onyx
symbol
gem. Yeah, she has the symbol, as well as it burned into her hand.
that I tried to hide from her.
That's right. That's right. She has the mark of Bahamut on her hand.
That is burned into her hand.
Is this some? How much are you willing to display the sort of stuff up front to the priest? Like, are you just going to sit there and like wave with your open marked hand, or what?
She will wave, not with her marked one, but she's not going to hide it.
Mhm.
Not in their presence, especially of these ones being highborn.
He sees it, he sees it.
It's proof
Yeah.
that her faith was tested and she prevailed.
It's
Indeed.
true.
Yep. Yeah, she's not going to deceive them on any of that. Yes, I'd absolutely love to get to pray to him again. I've been trying to get in contact with Bahamut for many a months now, and I was fearing that I would lose him.
His voice has been silenced some in this cursed realm we find ourselves in, but I still do hear it, though fainter than I used to. This is a holy place in the city, worshipping the great dragon Bahamut, and I'm sure you will hear him again if you go and visit.
And he pats you politely on the shoulder.
You look like you've been through quite the trial and tribulation, follower of Bahamut. But he watches, and I'm sure he is proud.
If he is watching, then I am honored to be in his sights, to be able to feel his presence, to get to see him again.
We're all blessed to bask in the wisdom and enlightened mercy of Bahamut,
Says the third, who seems a lot more old and decrepit than the other two.
Yes, I have gone through many trials coming to this place. I am not of this realm, but have been cast here from my own home. So, along with many of my people, far, far away.
Yes, so have we.
Says the second.
Are cast from our home by the deviousness of Tiamat. But we are here to enact the holy light of Bahamut and clear us from this realm.
You kind of cut out just a little bit as you were saying that. I love the energy, but I couldn't understand some of it.
They were cast here as well by the wickedness of Tiamat, and they are here to ensure that his holy light drowns that wicked darkness from this cursed realm.
So I am not alone in this belief.
No, child, you are not.
Tell me, I'm new to this place. I've only just arrived and still await what I need to continue to the rest of the parts of the city. But I noticed that there was possibly a Tiamat follower nearby, and I was curious. Are they too allowed to walk these streets along with Bahamut?
I'm gonna switch voices. So fuck that second guy. The first guy tells you,
Yes. As long as they do not break the laws of this land, all are welcome in New RAVNICA, and in the ports they are heavily watched. I'm sure if they were up to any wickedness here, the legionnaires would find them and put them on a gibbet. While I do hesitate to draw the same breath as that foul one, there's naught I can do without risking my own freedom to the guards, and I for one would rather keep my head on my shoulders than give it to the Tiamat.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yes, best behave in the city limits, young one, though by the looks of you, I'm sure you're quite well disciplined.
I am. But I will say this, if what you say is true, Bahamut watches us, and Bahamut and Tiamat's children are forced to behave in such place, then perhaps this is the closest to a family reunion you could get.
Some family?
and they chuckle.
Yes. The Holy War is not the place for these lands. At least, it will not be the servants of Bahamut that break the laws and spill the first blood.
It will
I
be
leave those
Tiamat.
transgressions to the deviousness of Tiamat.
She nods.
As he speaks, there's another handful of individuals start idling up from inside the blue building. It looks like a half-orc and two humans, and they sidle up alongside the three priests. One of the humans says, "Well, are you ready to go?" And the Bahamut priests turn and, yes, we shall continue. And they look to you, Miss Pinefall, and they say, well, we are ready to enter the city. We are going to continue our holy pilgrimage. But if you reach the great temple of Bahamut, seek us out. We shall pray together.
I would be honored.
The honor is all ours. Now, please. Good day.
Unless you have something to ask, sorry.
She looks at the two humans as well as the orc that walk out. There are other entourage here that has appeared. If they're just random people that have just come to assist them, she wasn't.
No, they're roll insight. Fuck you. You don't get free answers
She
all the time.
doesn't know if they have iconography of Bahamut with them.
I do not.
They do not. Okay. You said insight.
I will tell you that for free. You want to intone their intentions or their relations with the three priests? I'll let you roll for that.
Oh, that's right. I have proficiency in it.
Guidance from the other side of the fort now.
Also a 19.
Oh, they are clearly comrades in arms. While they may
Very
not bear the same holy symbols, they approach and mingle in with the collective of priests with a familiarity that would be only reserved for kin. You're really hitting those 19s today, Knight. Well done.
Yeah, Vasray's doing pretty good right. She's
Barely legal, but still legal.
barely legal.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, she's overjoyed to see finally somebody from of Bahamut's faith. Not only that, finding clerics, ones that at least have some sort of connection with him. So she waves them away as they head on out, and she is going to turn back. Unless there's any other Bahamut followers around. She's going to go ahead and go back and see if she can figure out what's going on with the Tiamat person. But
Alright.
she understands the rules and will obey them.
I guess when a priest of Bahamut says it makes a little bit more of a meaningful impact than when the police tell you to obey the law.
Yes.
Bahamut is
word-
lawful, dude.
Bahamut's word is law, and I will abide by it.
I trust the priest more than I trust the police.
Yes. That is all that Vasray is going to do for now. She's going to be trying to see if she can find the Tiamat person again.
100%. So while you're finding the Tiamat person, Vinshenzo and Carlos are knocking back a few cold ones to his baby girl back home, and as you're patiently or impatiently, I won't force your attitude there.
One drink. He's not gonna drink all of Carlos's fine brandy.
Are you the designated driver? That's fine. So as you guys are relaxing and enjoying the new environment and not being on a ship, you're actually on land that doesn't rock. A quartet of individuals enter into the Wayfarer's Rest. Pause for a moment, notice you, and then beeline right towards you. 3 of them are wearing the navy blue robes of Azorius lawmen. The 4th one, lightly embodied with holy light shining from behind his head, is a creature dressed in white robes with blue trim, and they approach you. And the individual in white robes asks, "Would I happen to be addressing the noble party from Sanctuary Island?"
You address 2/5 of it, right? Don't we have 5 people? But yes.
Gotta count them real quick.
We have 4.
Oh yeah. You address.
I mean, Nephis is technically still the 5th member. He's just
You address the better half of it.
You address the most illustrious.
Yes. Well, I am here with your papers and visas. But I've also been sent to summon you to the Azorius column at the Arch. You see, we afford special privileges to guests of a certain status. And we would be honored if you accompany us to receive such permissions and special favors.
What is the Azor... Am I saying that right? Azorius Arch? What is that?
It's this big old arch here. It's quite massive. It is the entrance to New Ravnica. I mean, technically it's the entrance to the stairway that goes to the entrance of New Ravnica, but you get what I mean. You have to pass under this arch to get to the city. And it also because of that, it also is, it's like the customs checkpoint and all that kind of stuff. You cannot get through that arch without permission. It is guarded day, night, dawn, dusk, even at lunchtime.
Ah, good.
Guarded.
I assume we've been invited to the city proper?
You've been invited to the column, the New Ravnican Customs, where we shall give you all the documentation and ensure that you are properly escorted to a place that is of stature, suits your needs. You're special here. We will ensure that you will be taken care of appropriately due to your status.
He tells you politely.
Very well. Mr. Carlos here, are you finished with your drinks?
Yes, I wouldn't want to waste it all in one night after all.
Yes. We will go then.
Outstanding.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So you are...
I wouldn't want to keep the city officials waiting.
Yeah, he nods very, very politely.
Yes, efficiency. And delays decrease efficiency. And there's nothing that gets hampered by efficiency like progress. We do not like that in the Azorius. And I appreciate that you seem to be of sound mind. Now, if you'll allow me, please let me escort you to where we need to go.
I care more about decency and manners than efficiency, but it's all the same, it seems.
He nods his head once again, quite sternly.
Yes, a product of good upbringing, I would say. Fine civility.
And then he motions to the door.
Of course, we are but your humble guests. Lead the way.
Heck yeah. So you are led over to here. Right here. So, things of note that you guys will have all passed on your way. Well, you two specifically will have passed right close. But Vazray, you would have known this, and then probably Paelias as well. So this big old teal building here, couldn't find anything for it on the map, sadly, or on my map maker, but there is a massive set of cables creating a monorail system.
Oh.
And this is how all of the cargo goods and material make their way into New Ravnica.
I see that.
And they go up via a very large, not a monorail. What the hell are those things? Like a ski lift. One of them. A gondola. Thank you, Vinshenzo. A gondola.
You work at a ski mountain. What happened?
We have furs exposed to snow.
Not good for cargo. This is a gondola. It's very good for cargo.
I forgot my lift ticket, Mr. Carlos.
You remember to buy a season pass? Oh, I got the family plan.
So walking past this rather large, imposing warehouse, you enter into an equally large and imposing building that starts as a set of offices and then morphs into what looks to be a triangular spire that creeps its way up the top, up the side of the arch, kind of like a set of vines. The stone used in this building is polished black slate, which reflects like a mirror in the late morning. Well, it's early afternoon at this point in time, early afternoon sun. Inside, the hallways are or the corridors and the rooms are just as tall and spacious and unnecessarily huge as the rest of this city appears to be. And you are greeted by another figure in white with blue-trimmed robes, who actually straight up has angel wings. It is a full-on angel greets you inside the foyer, bedding thanks to your entourage, and introducing himself to you. And he says, "My name is Luster. I am a member of the Azorius Senate. I am a diplomat, and I'm here to give you diplomat's credentials." And he points his arm, unfurling his lovely wings at the same time, and he says, "If you will, I will bring you to the ambassador's quarters. I first, if you don't mind, have a few questions to ask. Fairly introductory."
Ask away.
He leads you into a side chamber, and in this side chamber is a very long regal table, and on this long regal table is inscribed, not a paper, but is actually inscribed into the table, a map. And he walks to the center of the table, and as you approach, he lays his finger on an inscription that looks remarkably similar to a topographical depiction of the Sanctuary Islands. He says, "So I understand. You come from here, yes?"
Carla shoots Vinshenzo a discreet look.
I would narrow my eyes accusingly at Luster, and and then immediately start like chewing the fat a little bit. I would say, this is quite a. I would lean over the table with my hands behind my back politely and say, "This is a fine bit of craftsmanship you have here."
"Yes, we employ the finest of the Izzits, stone carvers and wood carvers and other such craftsmen. They are quite remarkable, not only in their precision, but in their artistry."
"Yes. I meant to ask the barkeep at the last establishment if he could introduce me to the..." I'm not actually...
You're not actually chewing the fat.
If he could introduce me to the brewers of Flint Isle.
I like it. The angel looks at you for not enough of a long silence for it to be a long silence. He strategically keeps it a beat shorter than that, but it's enough where you're like, and then he says,
"Ah, I see. And which cavern keep would that be?"
I do not know.
Must not be of worthy note, then. Well, if this is not where you're from, then could you point on the map to where it is you started your journey? We like to have an understanding of the world around us.
I like to have an understanding of the company I keep before I share where I lay my head to rest at night.
Very well. As I've introduced myself to you, given you my station of office, I'm not sure what else you would like to know, but I am here to answer if you wish.
You'll forgive my caution, but it was not long ago that both you and I lost everything, and we've been scampering by on the meager scraps of what's been left behind. It is all quite precious to us, what we have.
He barely nods his head, following
What we
along with your
cling
words.
to.
I can appreciate that. I did not hear a question.
No. You did not.
Very well.
I
I cannot-
suppose
Go.
it is. I suppose it is no secret where we are from. I would be interested to know where you gleaned such information. And how.
We have ships that have been chartered to explore every corner of this vast plain. They regularly send back reports of their discoveries.
And then he makes a nonchalant gesture over his shoulder, indicating the very hard not to notice set of angel wings.
We are also quite commonly familiar with the power of flight, which grants us a better view of the seas from above. I am not saying that we have visited your quaint island. I'm just saying I know of where it exists.
Yes.
You've
Forgive me
visited and
this.
interacted with a number of travelers who have known about your place of habitation. They are not exactly tight of lip.
Forgive me.
We are aware of the vagabonds.
This seems like quite an
Oh.
aggressive way to introduce oneself to another nation.
Do not take my questions as inquiries with hostile intent. You must understand, as much as I must understand the implications of your situation, you must understand that in a port city as large as mine, I receive a number of individuals who just come ashore, claiming to be kings and lords and princes and prophets. I am not accusing you, but it would be outside my professional diligence if I was to not simply ask. These questions are nothing less than a formality, nothing more either. Now please,
I suppose
If you
that
could.
remains to be seen.
I suppose it may.
Yes. Well, you've garnered your information.
I suppose I have. Well,
What business is it of yours?
He
You wish to
he
open diplomatic channels?
he reaches gracefully inside of his tunic, and he pulls out a small letter that has been stamped shut with a wax seal, and he passes it to one of the lawmen who have accompanied you all into the room, and the lawman passes it to Carlos.
Said it was a letter.
It's a sealed letter with a wax stamp. And the stamp is that of the Azorius seal, which you are familiar with because it's plastered fucking everywhere.
Carlos looks at the main guy. Is he to determine if he expects him to open it on the spot? Like, is he looking at him expectantly?
No, the angel is staring directly at Vinshenzo right now, actually.
Oh, Carlos glances at Vinshenzo.
He basically, and this is not to make an assumption. Well, he is entirely making an assumption of the hierarchy of the two of you. So he gave a letter to his lackey to give to Vinshenzo's lackey to do with as Vinshenzo or the lackey wishes. because you don't hand things to a guy. You give the thing to your guy to give to his guy to give to him.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah, okay, so Carlos looks to Vinshenzo to see whether he wants to open it himself or have Carlos do it.
Vinshenzo will first say, "Forgive me, but it seems a bit ill-mannered for me to travel all this way and have this quite important discussion between a simple diplomat."
That's why you should read the letter.
I'll snatch the letter out of Carlos's hand.
Are you gonna read it?
I'll take my dagger out and open it.
Oh. Blink.
Shoves the
Inside, written in Common, Elven, and you've seen enough Draconic to know that there's Draconic and Goblin, 4 languages, is a letter of introduction and invitation for Lord Vinshenzo Cairona and the emissary party of the Sanctuary Islands to attend the Azorius Senate proper. And as you're reading through it, the angel explains,
I am merely a diplomat. My station here is that of overseer of the port. In the grand scheme of RAVNICA, I am not important.
and then he gestures towards the letter.
The ones who wrote that, they are much more important than me, and they seek an audience.
So is he asking, forgive me if I'm misunderstanding and I don't understand, but am I being asked to appear before the Senate, or am I being asked to join the Senate?
You're being invited to, like, they're saying, hey, we'd like to hear from you. They know your name.
Okay.
Fuck, I don't want to give you more details than necessary, but yeah, it's an invitation. It's like, upon your pleasure, please come and say hello at the Azor. Like, we'd like to meet you, kind of thing.
So I'm appearing before the Senate.
Sort of thing, yeah.
Okay.
You're not being summoned, though. I will make that as because
so I can
because
drop
it is
in
formal.
any time.
You have been invited to appear before the Senate in the sense that you've been, like, they're asking for you to come visit, but it's not a summons in the sense that you're being told to come to this place at this time for this purpose. If that makes sense to you.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Very well. What would be a good hour to greet? Is it a king that rules here?
Roll history.
Okay. Ooh, I'm kind of good at that.
Mm-hmm.
12 plus 7 is 19.
Among the most important details that Ragus gave to you on your sort of like briefing for coming here, he explained to you that there is no one ruler of New RAVNICA. However, it is instead joint sort of leadership by the guild masters of the 10 guilds of New RAVNICA. So it truly is a senate in function where all 10 of them share the power.
Oh, what was I saying before the roll?
You were asking if it was a lord or a king or a whatever.
No, I mean in character. What was I saying?
You asked what was a good hour.
Yeah, what was a good hour to address your senate?
I would say either first thing in the morning or first thing after noon meal.
Very well.
If you go later than that, they'll be bogged up by bureaucratic nonsense.
And he says this with a little bit of frost in his voice.
Very well. I will gather my constituents and we will greet your senate on the morrow next.
He holds up a
With
gentle hand.
Good intentions.
Oh, after you finish saying that, because he is polite, he holds up a gentle hand and he says,
I have taken care of your associates. My own associates have gone to give them their appropriate permissions and paperwork.
and then he snaps one finger, and one of the other lawmen produces a series of other papers. He presents them to you.
And these are for you, your permission throughout the city. These are not normal passports. These are emissaries' passports. They grant further access to the confines of RAVNICA than a normal traveler would enjoy.
And then out of a small polished walnut box, the aide withdraws 3 wax seals with emblems sporting like the sigil of New Ravnica, the city itself. And he says,
Take these. They are an outward symbol of your permission to access restrained areas that normal visitors would not be allowed. If you keep those on proud display, our law enforcement will not hinder your presence, and both the Legionnaires and the city services are at your disposal for reasonable requests.
I appreciate the gesture.
As I said before, we take care of visitors of status. Something a king readily meets.
and he nods his head.
Thus concludes my business with you. I wish you a pleasant day, unless you wish to speak more.
That will be all. Diplomat luster.
And one of his aides will show you to the door in case you've forgotten your way out.
I go to the door.
Heck yeah, Carlos, feel free to do or say anything. You're not exactly don't feel stuck in the role of the guy who gets things handed to him.
He's still agape the fact that the letter was ripped from his hand.
Cannot believe I've been demoted to a letter opener.
Give me that.
Give me that.
No, Carlos doesn't have anything.
Carlos, Vin was more mad at the diplomat, not Carlos. I'll read your damn letter when I... Give me that, Carlos.
God damn it.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Paelias. Hello.
I tuck the letter in my suit jacket pocket after neatly folding it.
Suit jacket pocket. Paelias. Uh-oh.
Paelias is no more.
He's AFK. That's okay. Vazarai.
Heyo.
Hello.
I was in the kitchen.
Oh, that's totally fine. Okay. Paelias.
Damn.
Sorry. There's a
No,
certain
you're
reasonable...
fine.
He ran back.
Fine.
He made an effort.
It was funny. Sorry.
Paelias, you're hanging out in the tiny little aqua farm conclave there, enjoying your early afternoon as it is. Maybe you went to enjoy a free meal as was advertised. Maybe you chose not to because you don't follow rules. You're a free spirit. Whatever you chose to do, as you're enjoying the green grass and the Fey scenery, out from the sky drops an Azorius servant, feather falling to a perfect landing in front of you. He bows his head and says,
Are you Master Paelias of the Vagabonds?
I am indeed.
He opens a satchel and he presents you with a bundle of papers that have been sealed in wax and wrapped in twine. Upon your taking that, he then reaches into his satchel again and produces a small hardened leather case, and within it is the same seal/icon that Carlos and Vinshenzo had received. And he says,
Your paperwork has been processed, sir. And your friends have been informed of such as well. This token,
And he indicates the seal.
will give you more access to the city than the common folk. I hope you enjoy your stay in New RAVNICA.
And then, with a hop, skip, and a jump, he vaults up over the walls of the conclave and disappears. And when I say vault, I mean like he Jedi Force jumps up like 30 feet.
Oh, Jesus.
He knows
What
the
the fuck?
jump spell.
He's jumping.
Fly, bit.
That's awesome.
Alright. I pocket the stuff and then I start heading out to find the other.
Hell yeah. That's right.
Ew.
You've found Coco. You and Coco are following this asshole of Tiamat. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. Aside from being a worshiper of Tiamat, of course.
I mean, that's
He hasn't broken any
enough, isn't it?
laws.
Where did I find Coco in this area? Roughly.
He was at another store. Coco was there, and then you followed Coco down over this way. And the man went inside this place, which looks like a small inn. And you see Coco is perched on a fence, cleaning himself, as all cats do.
Good work,
and-
Coco.
Through the window directly behind your cat, you can see that this individual sat at a table with a dozen other people, and they're having food and drinking beer.
She stops in her tracks. I would like to do a perception check.
You may.
Would these happen to be Tiamat worshippers as well?
That's a good question. You have to roll perception first, though.
Oh god, the
Oh God.
that would be a 10.
You don't see any markings of Tiamat on the others. That being said, if the asshole that you'd been following actually bothered to put on her shirt, you probably wouldn't have seen his marking either.
Hmm.
Food for thought.
Wasn't really sure what to think of him before, but these happen to be humans as well.
They are a combination of humans and halflings.
Halflings, huh? Interesting.
With your 10 perception, I'm not willing to reveal more unnecessary details. That's what you notice.
Fazray takes a moment deciding exactly how to approach them.
As you're taking a moment to decide on how to approach this, a human riding a very strange creature, of which you had never seen before. I guarantee you've never seen it before. Don't you fucking roll. Actually, no, you can roll history if you want to see if Ragus told you a story about it, but you haven't seen this with your eyeballs before. Anyways, rides up and very loudly and absolutely with no stealthy intent whatsoever addresses you and says,
Greetings! Are you Miss Painful?
where did I speak again? I need
Yeah,
a better
she-
microphone for my eccentricness.
She is surprised to see them. It's like, oh, yes, I am Dame Pinefall. Yes.
Ah, I've been looking for you.
And the man pulls out of his satchel a bundle of papers, each of them stamped with wax, and the whole bundle is bundled with twine. And he gives you a seal, and you are given the same. These are your papers. They're very. They give you access to the city. Here's your seal. Wear it. You can get help from law enforcement. It gives you a little bit more permission to go places. Da-da-do-do-do-do-do. I don't want to tell the same story 3 different times in 3 different voices. I'm sorry.
TLDR, you have diplomatic plates.
Congratulations, you have diplomatic immunity.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you would like of me?
Right.
You,
You got any funny jokes? It's been quite a dry day.
I'd tell you a joke, but I unfortunately don't have any.
Ah, bother. Well, if there's nothing you need from me, I shall carry on my duties.
And he pats his satchel.
She gives a bow.
He reins his animal and gallops off to his next assignment, leaving you, Coco, and about 13 dudes eating their lunch inside, looking at the window, kind of looking at you.
Watches him right off and thinks to herself, really should probably talk to Vinshenzo. I realized I'm not funny.
Yeah, I'm not that fun.
I'm not that funny, damn it.
Like, really hard of a joke. I don't even know any jokes.
I don't even know any jokes right now.
This is very serious business.
Walked right up to me.
Fucking hell. That is
Maybe I was
absolutely
the
hilarious.
joke all along.
Maybe I was the joke. I was the punchline all along.
Oof.
God,
I think you're pretty funny. Funny looking. Ooh.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Anyways, so you've all gotten the peppers, please?
feels like hellfire from Tiamat herself.
That is what we call a slow burn.
Yes. Well done. So what is this? What is the shop exactly? If Vazra can tell.
The place that you're staking out right now?
Yeah.
It's like a smaller, less extravagant tavern slash inn.
Okay.
Like a plebeian establishment versus the Fritz 5-star luxury, whatever the hell that Vinshenzo and Carlos went into.
She takes a moment to decide if that is such a wise idea to go and visit such a place. She can't tell if there's any more Tiamat worshippers or if it's just him.
She
But
cannot.
if there is an issue, they'll probably be more overt about it if there is an issue. She decides to take the step and is going to go ahead and try to enter the building. Go see if she can get some food.
Okay. You enter the building and you walk into a fairly regular-looking sort of bistro pub corner building or corner restaurant. And as you enter in, there's a lovely young half-elf who greets you and says, good day. Do you have a reservation or just a seat for one?" She looks down over her little podium at you because you're so small.
Oh,
She gives you a little smile.
I have no reservations. I've only just arrived.
That's fine. We have some open spaces at the back.
The back, huh?
Yeah, there's like a table in the back. Not like a separate room, it's just farther away from the window.
I could be interested. What exactly do you sell here? Or what are you serving?
Would you like a menu?
She holds out a little paper menu for you.
I'd love that. She's gonna go ahead and look over it just a little bit. Is it possible that we can get some mead as well as... I'm gonna need to think on food for a moment, but at least a mead will be good for right now.
They have
And some bread. Some bread would be really nice.
for sure. They have things like grilled beef, turkey, different like rabbit salad, lamb stew, stuff like that. Cheese platters. Soup.
Actually, I'd be interested in trying the lamb.
Oh, the lamb stew, a grand old 3 silver pieces. And if you want a drink to go with that, it's going to be another extra silver piece for a house ale.
She will procure the coins and hand it over.
Oh yeah. She politely accepts your money and she informs you that she will be by with your lunch soon. And she leaves you to sit at the table by yourself.
Thank you. And she's gonna go ahead and take a seat, admiring the interior for a moment, just looking about, trying to get a feel for the place.
This feels like a more familiar type of establishment. It's not overly alien in design. It's not grandiose in its architecture. It feels like not a cafe, but it just feels like a bistro in a bustling city. The wonderful thing is that you can see an absolutely spectacular view of the port from this place. You can see all the ships going in and out. You got a really great view of the lighthouse right here. That's what that is. Big beautiful lighthouse. And you can see a number of the passers-by going around the docks on this side, because most of the action over here is out of sight. Aside from that, it's fairly unremarkable.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
It's
nice
just
to
a
enjoy
quiet.
bit of simplicity.
Yeah, there's a couple. You can see some older gentlemen are playing a game of dice out on the front porch. There's a few educated-looking elves who are reading the paper or doing some office work or something like that over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Just regular passers-by enjoying their daily lives.
She had almost forgot what this is like, having hanged around Carlos and Vinshenzo so much.
What do you mean nobody's trying to stab me or claw out my eyeballs or infest my brain with demonic thoughts? This is just a cafe with fucking doubles and lattes. It's great.
We can just enjoy this simple place. Not looking for fanciness, for at least right now.
Is this what normalness feels like? I don't like it.
Forgotten. Yeah, she's just gonna happily sit there and wait, admiring the view as well as getting a look at the ship if she can, because she can probably see her own ship from there.
You can.
So.
You absolutely can see the HMS Fortune.
How big does it look in comparison to the other ones?
There are some ships that are bigger. There are some ships that are smaller. The HMS Fortune is on the sort of upper end of the spectrum. It's a two-mast frigate, I believe. Yeah, I think you guys have been sailing in a double-masted frigate, and there are some big old galleons. There are some smaller sloops. There are some a lot of the ships that are at port right now are seagoing traders. There's some smaller scouting warships, but aside from that, yeah.
She quietly admires to herself that Carlos and Vin did a good job getting that. So
it is quite a beautiful ship.
It is a beautiful ship. And she's going to wait patiently.
What exactly you're patiently waiting for?
For food.
Ah, yes.
On
okay.
top of that, is it possible that I could look at the letter here that I was given? Since I'm at a table.
Yeah. So you read through the letter, and the contents of this letter are the same universally for all others. The only difference being is that at the top of the first letter, in beautiful calligraphy, your name is written. Now, for Miss Pinefall, all of her documentation is in Draconic. For Mr. Santiago, all of his documentation is written in Draconic. For Paelias and Vinshenzo, it's written in Elvish. Hope you brushed up on your French, Carlos.
Hell
yeah. Test time. So these documents label under no certain terms that you are officials of the kingdom of Sanctuary, and that you are here in attendance as official guests of the Azorius Senate. These letters inscribe to you the authority and the respect of a foreign nation, as like officials of a foreign nation. But it's basically like there's 4 different ones, and the reason why there's 4 different ones is there's one for like the Senate at large, one is for another guild, one is for like a 4th guild. They're a series of different ones because everybody's got to be a special snowflake and they all need their own special permissions, and you've been granted sort of like blanket permissions across 4 guilds. The seal itself doesn't really say anything special.
It's just kind of your run-of-the-mill letter. Hey, you got an invitation to go see here, and you
The
have a bit of
seal itself is just something that you like pin on your jacket so that when people see it, they're like, okay, we're, like the cops aren't gonna the cops aren't gonna razz you for anything when they see that seal on you because they're like, that person we're not gonna mess with because they could probably cost us our jobs.
Hell yeah, dude.
She's going to go ahead and, unless the seal is something she has to put on right away, she's going to hide it away for the moment.
Nobody is there to force you to wear the seal, so it is entirely on your own free will as to what you want to do with it. You can wear it, you can keep it in your pocket, you can throw it in the sea. It's up to you.
Since she is in the presence of somebody who might be a follower of Tiamat, she'd rather not give that kind of knowledge just yet.
I think that's a good idea. That guy seems weird. I don't like him.
Tiamat is known for scheming, so yeah, I don't need that kind of attention right now. Not that kind of attention.
For certain. In short order, as you're reading through your letters, your food arrives. The lady does not look at any of the stuff that you're reading over because she's professional like that, and she quickly disappears after ensuring that you got the right cutlery and napkin and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you for the drink and everything too. Excellent.
Heck yeah.
Finally, it's not hardtack.
Hey, you've been sailing with Ragus for like 2 months. You haven't been eating hardtack.
Hardtack.
Having a good life.
You've been eating a lot of fish though. Mostly been seafood.
I'm sorry, I've experienced too much trauma from hardtack.
A lot of that in life. Sometimes you get the hardtack, sometimes the hardtack gets you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ragus.
Okay, so you got your food, you got your letter. What else are you interested in doing?
She's going to just kind of watch around for the moment, just kind of observe the place while she's eating her food and having her drink, and just kind of getting a feel for the place and keeping an eye out.
Awesome. Paelias, you said you were going to go find the rest of your comrades?
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of comrades, Vinshenzo and Carlos, what you up to now that you've finished with your formalities for the moment?
What were we up to?
Vinshenzo would be in a panic, storming off. I don't know.
I guess Carlos.
They know where I live.
Vincenzo.
Shit, they know where I live.
You know where I live, knight.
Hey, we have to keep this a secret. Walks up to their first thing that happens. Hey, we know where you live. Oh, shit.
Don't tell anybody where we live. Do you live here?
Months and months, and instantly, how did they know? How did they know?
God damn it, Colin.
Who fucking
Oh,
talked?
maybe it was an inside man. Who knows?
It was happening all along, and we never knew it.
An inside Megamind.
Inside Megalodon. Okay. So you just storming in what direction there, Vin, seeing as you're the leader of the parade?
I guess towards
Let's
the
do.
ship, probably.
Alright.
So I can have a moment of privacy. If that's even
Awesome.
possible.
Carlos would only follow him onto the ship. Once he's on the ship, he'd let Vinshenzo be alone.
Heck yeah. Paelias, where are you wandering to go find your friends?
The bar, then the ship.
Awesome. Alright, well you head to the bar, they're not there. But you see Carlos on the ship.
I go to the ship.
On the ship. 3 out of 4 is better than not 3 out of 4. So the 3 you are together on the ship. Vin's stormed off to be private.
Carlos would be reading the letter that was given to him.
Hell yeah. As I mentioned earlier, similar information. It's just yours is written in your own language.
It's basically don't fuck with this guy.
This guy is serious, take him seriously kind of thing.
He is who he says he is.
That's it.
Carlos likes
Cool.
that.
Yeah, but he doesn't like the fact that Vinshenzo is all bent up about it.
That stick out of your ass, Cairona. Fuck.
Pull it together, Cairona.
Does put a wrench into our plans.
Yes. I can't believe it. How long have they known? Who sold us out? Was it the captain? Was it the goblin?
There's no way. How would they have gotten word back?
I don't know. That goblin cook of yours, he's lucky I'm not as barbaric as the lot of you tend to be quite so often.
Oh, let off of it, Vinshenzo.
Oh,
I love it.
I'm sorry.
I don't think you should be. That's a very Vinshenzo thing to have done. Just
It was very Vinshenzo.
I could totally see him doing that if he's like really upset and doesn't know what to do.
I'm really
Only
upset
one
and I
person
don't know
in the
what
world
to do.
There's only one person in the world he cannot do that to, and
I-
she's not here.
I have to call my wife. She'll handle this.
No wifey poo.
Is there going to be a 25-word letter that I'm going to see somewhere shortly? I just need to know so that I pay attention in case I don't see it pop
I don't
up.
know if Vinshenzo. I'll let you know if I do that. I don't know if he would.
You don't have to. I just wanted to. Totally fine. Okay. Jasper, how long are you willing to observe this ne'er-do-well that you've identified?
I'm willing to spend at least half an hour, and then I'm probably gonna go head back.
She wants to find the
Okay.
Temple of Tiamat and destroy it.
I need to find the rat's nest.
The Wat. Okay. So basically, like, there's an hour in between when you guys show up at the ship and when Vazrai is going to show up at the ship. I put that timetable in your collective meta hands so that you figure out exactly what the hell you're going to do. Because if the three of you are going to leave in less than an hour from the ship, then Vazrai is coming back to an empty place. And that's totally cool. I just need to know.
Vinshenzo will stay on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos will stick around.
Okay. Paelias?
I will also stick around.
Okay, so an hour later, Vazrai shows up.
Okay, Coco, you can keep watching him if you like. Just, again, make sure you're back here on the ship at night.
Wow.
Your finder.
Well, you certainly took your sweet time getting back. Have your labors borne any fruit?
Well, I can say that there is good and bad news. At least for myself.
Well,
The good news is that Bahamut's followers appear to be here and on a pilgrimage, so I'm planning to probably pray with them later.
how splendid for you.
Yes, I am very much looking forward to it, and finally,
Perhaps you could even convince one of them to come back to Sanctuary Island.
Yes.
that depends if they would allow it.
Well, that's why you would
Hey.
ask.
I may try.
You never know. There's always adventurous types, no matter who they pray to.
The bad news, at least for myself, is the fact that Tiamat's followers appear to also reside in the same city.
Have to say I don't know much about Tiamat other than what I've overheard from you.
Bahamut and Tiamat are at war.
Eternal enemies.
Eternal enemies. The sister of evil. To be allowed within the city. I find it most interesting that he is able to walk around. But
Well, that's how
Holy
large
War.
cities tend to be.
the Holy War will not continue here, at least not in this place. So, under Bahamut's gaze, I shall contain myself. All the
That's-
presence within this city.
That is probably for the best. I'm glad you kept your head on your shoulders.
I can hear Ben yelling in the background.
Lady Pinefall,
What?
are you aware of this? This treachery? This nonsense? I'll slam the letter down in front of her.
She looks at the letter and it's in like Elven.
Yes, can't you read?
It's the same as ours, Vazra.
Oh. I was about to say, Vin, I can't read this, but yes, I got a letter as well as a,
They've been spying
What's
on
in
us
here?
this whole time.
Oh,
To what end? I don't understand.
What are you talking about? What
They-
madness has befallen
They
you?
know where Sanctuary Isle is, and they didn't make themselves known.
It is true. They have a map that shows directly where we are.
That makes me curious to how long they have known, if that is the case.
Yes, quite curious indeed.
So what are you going to do about this knowledge?
I don't know. I expect that they will want some sort of comeuppance for their wayward captain. It couldn't be that goblin fellow below deck.
Keep in mind, they might not know about him yet.
Don't think they would know anything of Ragus, at least not right now. Remember, it takes forever for ships to communicate, unless, you do what you do with...
You're lucky the goblin, that idiotic goblin that you keep around, he's lucky that I have half a mind and a measure of mana to...
Why don't you ask him if he knows sending? Did he know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Ragus is on the ship if you want to ask
I
him.
don't know who to trust. I don't know if we're being listened to right now.
Vin,
How long have
Vin.
they known?
Vin, I please ask you, my king, to please calm down. I will go
Well,
and ask Ragus.
You don't
If he knows
understand
anything like this.
the gravitas of the situation.
Of course I understand the gravitas of the situation. My entire people is on that island along with yours.
Yes.
We both have a lot of things to lose.
And they've been spying on us for how long and didn't make themselves known? There's no other word for it. It's espionage.
My question is, have they known about Sanctuary before or after I arrived? I do not know. Remember, they have ships everywhere,
Who
and
knows? That's what I'm saying, Miss Pineville.
well, I will go and ask Ragus if he knows anything of this.
I'll go with you and make sure he gives a truthful answer.
Very well, my lord. And she is going to go ahead and go and find Ragus.
Ragus,
Well, Carlos-
as usual, is in the kitchen. The galley.
Carlos certainly isn't going to let them go to him alone, so he'll also follow.
You find Ragus. He's tenderizing some meat with a meat tenderizing hammer, and he smiles, jumps fairly when you arrive, and he says,
Oh, yes. Great king. Buns. I see you've gone and walked about the city. Is it as magnificent as I told you?
I didn't understand any of that.
Me?
he says, vagabonds. I see you've gone about the port city. Is it as magnificent as I told you?
It's
it
quite
is-
magnificent indeed. It seems we're already quite known here. You wouldn't happen to
that's
know
so.
how that happened, did you, you little green sniveling snot?
I'm sure he has no idea, Vin.
It's okay, Master Santiago. I'm quite used to the king's rhetoric by now. I did not have anything to do. I've been on the ship the whole time. I understand that I came from RAVNICA, but I consider myself a goblin of sanctuary now. I'm but your humble servant. I would do nothing to betray my home. And I do consider sanctuary my home.
Would you happen to know sending?
Sending?
It is a sort of spell.
No, I don't know spells. I know cooking.
And he produces a wheat, a wheat cracker to Vazarai.
Yeah, I put some roe on it and a nice brie cheese. It's got a quite pleasant bouquet if you'd like to whet your appetite before evening meal.
I will accept this cracker.
It's the cracker of peace.
The cracker of peace, yes.
He folds his hands gently in his apron pockets, and he addresses King Vinshenzo, and he says,
"My lord, I do not know much about seafaring and politics, but I do know that Captain Collins, before he arrived in Sanctuary, he might have shared the details of his discoveries. He was sailing around the area quite a while before he reached the island. And there could have been other ships. We have also stopped in many places and spoken to several people on our voyage. It is not unlikely that they could have opened their mouths and shared what they know."
Then that means that they perhaps knew about everything before I had arrived.
Yeah. He kind of furrows his brow.
Perhaps. I'm just a cook. But I swear to you, my king, and the rest of you as well, on my soul.
And he puts his little hand on his little goblin heart.
I would never betray any of the secrets of Sanctuary. I know how closely the secrets are that you guard. I understand the importance of our mission here, and I would never betray you, my king. My friends.
May I roll insight?
You absolutely may. Any of you can roll insight if you wish.
Carlos does not need to roll insight.
I got a 23.
He seems to be sincere and genuine in his statement.
Did you say you got a 23?
I did. I have proficiency in insight.
Even so.
You're lucky I'm a mild-mannered creature.
If you wish, my king, I have no interest in abusing your trust of me any further, so I will not take any actions. But there is the House of Demir. They are spies and secret keepers. Perhaps they might be able to shed some insight as to the details of the knowledge of Sanctuary. Perhaps that might become of use to you before you stumble into anywhere that might use their information to an advantage.
It seems Regis speak truth, my king. If you two were to visit such a place, I do think that you two would have more luck in finding any sort of information.
I will not fly off the handle more than I already have.
If it were to me, I would say that they have known about Sanctuary long before I arrived. So it is not likely any sort of insider, if that is what you are concerned of. Rather, it is simply people who have gained information long before.
But it does seem a bit convenient that our fellow goblin cook here knew that they had an entire house of...
Are you okay?
House of spies, and he never once deigned to mention it.
So this kind of unfortunately sort of jumps the gap between sort of the background history and role thing that I had mentioned earlier and the current conversation. So given that there was a decent amount of time Ragus was living there, this is stuff that he would have told you about. Okay. But he's like sort of bringing it up to you as more of like a useful. These guys these guys would have sort of. He's suggesting that they might have this information more specifically, kind of thing like that. He's trying to be helpful, but this would be information that he would have shared to somebody in the past. Maybe he might not have said it to Vinshenzo. He might have like told Amithray, or he might have told one of the, other somebodies or somebody on the ship. Like, it is possible that Vinshenzo personally was not told, but this is the type of common information I would say that he would have no reason to hide from you.
My
If
lord,
that
I have a theory if it were to even be madness enough to even consider. Wouldn't the Tarvians have something to do with this? After all, haven't you and the Tarvians lost contact with one another or broken contact?
Yes, it's a sanctuary isle. Even our own home is full of deceivers that need to be cut out like rot from a wound.
That is something we can discuss when we get home.
Like a festering boil.
Vazray just looks at Vin. I think he just blew a blood vessel.
Yeah, boils must be lanced toot sweet, otherwise they might cause infection,
says Ragos from the background.
I will look to Carlos and say, well, we have no advantage against these people now if it does come to blows. So perhaps the best course of action is simply to be as proper and well-mannered as we can, instead of trying to seize opportunity from them.
Well, it is good that I had already planned to be amicable.
Else it seems that we'll have to adjust our plans. But we may have to display what's the word? What is the word?
What is the word?
What
we
is
are
the
at
word?
their mercy if they declare that there is a debt to be collected.
We should attempt to level the playing field as much as possible, and that we need more information about them,
Yes.
since they know so much about us. That is what we should endeavor to do.
Why not take the opportunity to take this invitation that we have?
It could be a good opportunity to get some answers they might not be able to find otherwise.
I have no intention of failing to meet this invitation first thing tomorrow morning.
First, a nap.
In
Okay.
that case, I may consider getting some rest then here soon. She just kind of looks at Vin, kind of worried.
Okay, so really quick, because it's close to the end of the session, and this is sort of information that I feel is probably something I should have given to you way earlier that I didn't, and I realize that now. So I'm gonna be better late than never. There are 10 guilds that form up the core foundation of Ravnica society. You're already aware of the Azoria Senate, which is a government body, the main government body. They're basically like the feds in terms of like their role in the society. They're the bureaucratic feds.
Federal government.
Yeah, the Boros Legion is the military force, as well as making up a portion of the law enforcement activities in Ravnica. House Dimir is another guild. It is an espionage network that also doubles as like they don't only do spying, but they also do like assassination, thieving, that kind of shit like that. They trade in secrets. They're those kind of dudes. They're the CIA. Except, well, I'll explain that in back. There are the Gruul clans, They are an association of scavengers, raiders, otherwise not very good time people to be around if you're a regular upstanding citizen. In the past, they're the kind of guys that would like inhabit the rubble belt and the derelict districts and generally make up the foundation of lawless society. There are two scientific slash magical research guilds slash technological guilds. There is the Is It League, which is more of your artificer and hard magic stuff. And then you have the Simic Combine, which goes more in the direction of biomancy, illusions, and sort of the softer magics, we'll call it. The banks and a chunk of the religious infrastructure is handled by the Orzhov Syndicate. They're also they're rumored to also be a bit of an organized crime group that takes advantage of the banks and the churches that the Orzhov Syndicate operates. There's a performance troupe guild that has to do with a lot of culture, music, entertainment that is known as the Cult of Rakdos, which is alluded to in the House of Rakdos, I think is what I called it. That half-elf had mentioned. And then there are two guilds devoted to the upkeep of the natural cycle, like the cycle of actual nature within the city. There is the Selesnya Conclave, who are the Feywild, protectors of life, nature, trees, druids, all that bullshit. And then there's the Golgari Swarm, which is on the death side of the life cycle, dealing with rot, decay, and other such opposites. So those are the 10 guilds. Not everybody in the city belongs to a guild. A decent portion of the population are not adhering to any guilds. However, the government slash functioning mechanisms of Ravnica revolves around these 10 guilds, and they are not. This is all information you glean from Ragnus. So this Ragus. This is from his sort of point of view. He tells you that even though they are all stuck working together due to the guild pact that they operate under, they all have their own agendas, and they're their own independent organizations. So, just as a common world example, House Demir, the CIA. Imagine if the CIA wasn't a government body that was regulated. It was like its own private company that did contract work for the government and then did their own thing on the side. So it's that sort of thing. Like, yeah, we're gonna help everybody, but we're also doing our own thing because nature abhors a vacuum. There's 10 of them vying for as much of the pieces of the pie that are around, and they're all kind of forced to work together to keep a fragile peace among the social class and functions of New Ravnica. So that's the brief overview of the guild/government functions. So you guys have so far mainly been dealing with members of the Azorius Senate, which is in and of itself sort of its own guild, but it also makes up representatives of the other guilds who are partaking in functions, which is why a lot of the diplomats, the envoys, the bureaucrats are Azorius. The Azorius Senate also deals with justice and law, so if you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, it's usually the Azorius guys who are coming to pick you up and take you to jail. Whereas if you're
information to take in.
Yeah, it is a lot, but I'm also going to put it with that statement. I think I'll also put it in IC or something like that, and I'll write a little Ragus flavored blurb for you guys to be able to digest.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and you can also ask them questions and such in character as well. So it is 10:02 Eastern. Welcome to New Ravnica. This has